Please take it away. Thanks so much
Well,
for joining.
wonderful. Thank you so much. I wanted to say welcome and thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be able to share some information some of you may know already, but some new information, some new menu items, I would call it, that APCA is able to offer in the way of workforce training and development. So I'll talk about that today. I'm just getting I have a weird hidden slide. Unhide the slide. Okay, there we go. My presentation set up, and then we can go. Let's see. Slideshow from beginning and share. All right, here we go. Beautiful, right there. And let's see, can everyone see that all right?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Beautiful, okay. Extend this again. All right, I'm all set up now. Oh, wonderful. So welcome. I'm here as Dominica noted, my name's Laura Madden. I'm with Alaska Primary Care Association. Um, I'm fairly new to this organization, about a year in, but I am a long-term Alaskan, and I have a long academic career with the University of Alaska Anchorage. So in education, kind of in all areas, a lot of online uh, training that we did with faculty and things. And then I've also worked as a professor, adjunct professor at University of Alaska. So just so you kind of have a teeny bit of who I am. So we're here today to talk about our workforce development and health equity programs. Basically, we are here and we've got some really great funding sources through the federal government, which I'll share their information later, to really assist in getting people to work in healthcare. And our mission is really large because it's statewide, but it is very individualized for employer partners and for those Alaskans looking to either start a new career or change careers and come into the healthcare world, which is so important. But that also comes down to a very big mission of health equity across the state of Alaska, because as we are all funded in our different places that we work and around the state, when there's enough staff in our healthcare centers and hospitals, then all of our neighbors can have access to healthcare. And so that's a huge, huge part of our mission. And that's why we call ourselves the added health equity to our title of our department, because that's, again, it's on our hearts to make sure that we all have access to healthcare in our state. And let me click the right thing. There we go. So I'm going to talk about both our apprenticeship programs that we've been running for quite some time, and then some additional training programs that we have added to our menu at the end of FY24 and rolling into 25. So I think you'll be excited to hear about those. Oh, as always, I'm always open to questions. If you have questions, please put them in the chat because we should have some time at the end to review those. And I'm a note taker. And if you're a note taker too, your question in the chat for me is amazing. And thank you. So basically, we are running 3 big picture training programs: our pre-apprenticeship program, registered apprenticeship program, and our new online training certification programs. So pre-apprenticeship, we're running these monthly in the municipality of Anchorage area, and we have done some of these pre-apprenticeship trainings around the state with different partners. But basically what we're doing is inviting in just anyone who's in Alaska, who's eligible to work or in process of becoming eligible to work, to our courses. They're currently 2-week courses, and they include the 5 stackable credentials: BLS, bloodborne pathogens, first aid, MANT de-escalation, and mental health first aid. So if a participant has come through our program and you see a resume that says Path Academy graduate, these are the certifications that should also be listed because that's what they earned with us. We also cover some medical terminology, some anatomy, some what are healthcare careers information for people who are new to healthcare, talking about what kind of careers they can look into, what are entry-level careers, places they can go, really just expanding their mind of all the opportunity that they have in healthcare and healthcare adjacent positions in our state. And then they also receive career navigation assistance with resume building, like adding all these new credentials to their resumes, helping them build one if they don't have it, updating. We also do practice with interviewing skills and trying to make sure that people are prepared and ready to apply for these job openings and walk in the door and be able to let you know who they are, right? So that you can find out if they're a great fit and get them into the system. We also do employer matching in healthcare fields, and that's helping people find those job positions to apply for that are open in the areas that they're interested in. And then, of course, once we've got them there, we also have some career navigation, which is once, what do we call it? Once they are accepted and start employment, we have some supportive services we can assist with in transportation, equipment like scrubs and shoes and stethoscopes, things that they may need for that first part of their job in their career field, new career field, that might be a barrier for them to get started. So we've got a lot of kind of moving parts there, but it's really a well-rounded kind of wraparound service once they come through this program. That being said, we also have career navigation as an individual service. It's not necessarily a training program, but it is another service. So if someone maybe already has some of their credentials and doesn't need to go through the full 2-week program, they can still sign up with us and receive those career navigation assistance pieces. Say they've graduated from another program. We've had some people that have graduated from UAA recently who are still looking for healthcare positions, and they can come through our career navigation programs for some additional guidance and prep to get ready to walk into new job interviews. So that's pretty exciting. Registered apprenticeship is exactly that. We have 8 programs that are registered through the Department of Labor Office of Apprenticeship. So they're approved curriculum. We've been doing them for quite a while, and they include, employer partnership. And in that, there's a structured on-the-job learning format that they do. We do host college-level related technical instruction for those participants that are employed in one of these 8 fields. And then in the process, they earn a midway and final wage increase for their work that they've done in program. The program also specifically prepares them for their industry certification exam. And for all of the 8 that have a certification exam, we're working with the National Health Career Association, NHA, and except for dental, we're working with DANIB, and they have their own set of credentials. So that's really great. We actually right now have about 20 people that are coming out of their year program and moving into certification practice and scheduling. So we're very excited about that. We've got a lot of really great success stories in this program, and that's statewide. We can work because the related technical instruction are online courses. Our participants can be anywhere in the state of Alaska. And so here are 8 current apprenticeship programs: billing and coding, CMA, which is our CMA is our most popular because it seems to be a very needed position in the state. Community health worker is a growing field. It really has boomed from the 2020 having community health workers on the ground. They're now reaching out and doing a lot of work with health education, food scarcity, all kinds of great things to help people, helping people in those areas, which is the great thing. Like I said, dental assistant, direct service provider. This is one that we're also looking into really deeply this year. Looking at both direct service providers or support providers that work with maybe I think it's both development areas and then also elder care. So we're looking at both of those and adding a track for each so that our participants can really focus in the areas that they are working in and get that education that they need for what they're specializing in. And then health record specialist, of course, medical administrative assistant. So it's your front end clinic or hospital assistants, and then pharmacy technician. So there's our 8. And we currently are running our spring cohort. We are running 7 of these 8 programs live, and enrollment is open for all 8 programs for an end of October start. The week of October 28th is our plan. Again, here's just another list of how those look. Currently, all of the programs except clinical medical assistant are 1-year programs approximately with 2,000 hours of on-the-job learning. That's guided. It has, we have an approved, what do we call it, work process list that is simplified and gives a guidance of how many hours approximately a participant would need to learn each of the skills. So it helps the mentor that's on the ground have an understanding of setting up training and working within that specific area. Clinical medical assistant is actually a 3,000-hour program because of the level of clinical work that a CMA does on the ground. And that, with a full-time employee, that can come into about a 1.5 years for on-the-job training, and the course itself is actually 52-week course for RTI. And of course, like all training, we do have breaks over holidays and things. So, but the number of weeks that course is held is 52 at this time, to really make sure that we've covered all of those clinical items very, very clearly for your participants. Okay, I think that's beautiful. And just some specifics about registered apprenticeship in healthcare. I know that, well, I'll say this. I have some very unique experience with apprenticeship, as my father was an apprentice in the insulation industry way back in the 70s. And I knew that he did apprenticeship, and then later in his career, he taught the apprenticeship courses. And in the kind of labor industries, apprenticeship kind of looked one way. It's a little bit different, if not quite different, in the healthcare industry. And so one of the main portions of being a registered apprenticeship is that apprentice has to be employed. So the employment piece is something that we're really looking at deeply here at APCA, working with employer partners, thinking about future positions at these entry-level positions, and looking at the opportunity to blend those new positions with an apprenticeship kind of right off the bat, right? And we're working into some rolling enrollment where we can offer apprentices to start the program kind of as they're hired, and or at a point where an employer feels comfortable that they know they're a good fit and now they want to enroll them in the training program in a way that gets them started sooner and finished sooner, so that you have a very well-trained person within the first year of their employment. And then, like I said, 1.5 years for CMA. So really thinking about how we can connect with employers and get people set up right as they're coming into your organizations, to have this training set up for them and connected, and start attending their classes and working on their on-the-job learning, which is their, employment training, right? Training them how they work in your labs and in your organizations, under, how works for your clients and for your organization. So I think that's something to really think about, and kind of start mulling around and maybe connecting with us around with a conversation of how to maybe implement and or boost apprenticeship programs that you already have going in your organizations. The responsibilities also, there's monthly on-the-job learning timesheets. We've simplified that process to really make that a much easier process for both the apprentices and their mentors for signing that off and getting that submitted. In fact, we've created a participant portal for all of our participants where they actually can log in and submit and know something's done and not lose anything in an email, which is a beautiful thing. I love technology. And then there are midpoint and final documents that are sent. So those are some of the responsibilities, employer-based. Some of the benefits it's definitely an earn while you learn model. Again, coming back to the fact that the apprentice needs to be employed. And we at APCA aren't here to pick someone and say, here, this person's good for you. We do have, by the way, a bunch of path graduates who may be a good fit for your organization. And so knowing that you have job openings in these areas, we can share that with them so that they have the opportunity to apply with you to find out, right, if they're a good fit for your organizations, and then roll into training as necessary. So we're trying to fill that gap, and it's a pretty big one in Alaska. As all of you are probably nodding your head like, yep, we sure know that can be a big gap, but we're here for that. So it's definitely that earn while you learn model, where the apprentice is making their entry wage based on your organization, so that they're working, they're not earning a stipend. So just to note that they're an employee of the organization that they are an apprentice with. And they fall under all of the other employee guidelines. You know, if you've got a 90-day probation period and all of the things we or the what is it called? The Office of Apprenticeship doesn't have any insight there. We don't have any guidance there. We just want to help you with this training. So I've had a lot of questions around that. So I wanted to make sure I kind of pop that information in there. Because these are year and a half long programs, there is a pay scale that's an increased pay as the skills progress. So there's whatever their starting wage is that. There's a midway increase point that is decided upon by the employer. And then there is a final wage point that does have an Office of Apprenticeship guide. So it's got a number. And currently, everything I've looked at in Alaska, the national number is usually a little bit lower than what we would pay anyway. So usually it's not something that's outside budgets, but there can be a discussion about that as we're researching apprenticeship for your organizations. So that's a really important part of the process. Is the goal of the registered apprenticeship office, and then also the funding that we're using to support the process of training is always about getting our Alaskan citizens, getting them to the point where they're trained and they can earn that living wage that keeps them in industry, and then also gives them the opportunity to possibly grow in their careers in healthcare, because these are all entry-level positions we're talking about. So as we know, where we are isn't where we started. Probably we started off in one place, and we've grown in our careers, right? So we're trying to give everybody a really great base, and get them into the industry so they can find their place and find their way and become who they should be out there in healthcare. Again, making sure all these jobs are filled with trained individuals. Again, the skills gains, those are our on-the-job learning qualifications. And then our national industry certification, that is part of the funding source. So the participant or employer does not have to pay for the certification exam. We do offer additional study for those exams. Practice exams are paid for, and then an initial certification exam are paid for. And just toot our own horn, we have a 98% pass rate currently. So I think our process works. It's our goal to keep that high. So note there. And then also we have a partnership with Alaska Pacific University. And I believe it's 6 of the 8 programs have the availability at the end of completion of certification to apply their APCA registered apprenticeship program to APU at a discounted rate, which currently is $75 a credit, to apply those credits to the health occupation certificate. So these participants can start their additional training with some college credits on board, because we are not an accredited, like college accredited institution. We do use college accredited materials, but that's how we assist students in getting them, or participants to getting them into that college level thinking, and maybe then looking at their future education, and just becoming more strong for your organization. Looking at what their strengths are, maybe what their passions are. How some people love working with children, so they want to go into pediatrics, and some people love working with elders and they want to go in that direction. Some people love the ER, you know what I mean? So you guys know. And I can't see most of your faces, so hopefully you know what I'm saying. And we're nodding yes, that actually sounds great. So anyway, it's a great opportunity. We give that to the participants as they finish their program, that opportunity. Those credits can be paid for by self-pay, or if they're working for an organization that has agreed to use maybe a tuition benefit to help either support or pay for those, depending on what your benefit packages look like. Those are all available. Sometimes there's some scholarship funding that we can use for that, but again, it's such a great discounted rate in a partnership that they're giving us. It gives people really that foot in the door, that they've accomplished it. Now they have these college transcripts, and now it's like, okay, where do I go from here? What is my career going to look like in the next 5, 10, and 15 years? And I find that to be very exciting, especially, like I noted, coming from university education. That was our life, right? Making sure people found that passion and got the chance to follow it. All right, so that's registered apprenticeship. And I'm going to stop here for a second. Does anyone have any questions specifically about registered apprenticeship programming?
Thank you, Lara. This is Dominika. I do have a question. So the idea is for apprentices, they are employees already. So if you have among our attendees individuals working with potential apprentices, what would your suggestion or recommendation be for those assisting students? Now they have the knowledge that you provided, the information, the resources, and so they have someone they work with. That person would be interested in healthcare occupations, but that person is not employed yet.
Okay, so right. So for this particular process, it's definitely employed. If we've got someone who's not yet employed, but still very interested in healthcare careers, that would be our Path Academy program that we would start them with. And then once they become part of our family, basically, as these apprenticeship programs come available, we do share that with our graduates, so that they have an opportunity to apply for those new jobs and that have apprenticeship training attached to it. For incumbent employees, so if you have an organization that has some employees that maybe came in at one level and you see potential in them, and you really would like them to move into, say, a clinical medical assistant, but they don't really have training in that specific area yet, even though they have some healthcare training, and they need to be certified to move into the CMA position, that's something we can talk about, enrolling your current employees into apprenticeship and get them started. And I'm going to have an enrollment link for everyone here toward the end, where you can save the website and you have a place where you can contact us, and we can start having some individual discussions on what could work best for you. So we have lots of cool options. Employed for registered apprenticeship. The pre-apprenticeship program is for people who are not yet employed, but want to come through into these kind of programs. Yeah.
Pre-apprenticeship training in healthcare path. And how often do you run path?
Currently, we are running path once a month in Anchorage. And we have the opportunity with employer partners to run path around the state of Alaska. So our trainers can travel. We just need to connect and talk about schedules and training, and what'll work for our schedule. And now today, actually, we have a full training team. So that is amazing. Alaska is a transient place. Those of us who've stayed a long time, we've seen a lot of our pals come and go. But we have a full training team. So we do have the opportunity to travel around the state of Alaska and partner. And we have been doing that in the past with especially in partnerships with community health centers around the state and our AHIC partnerships around the state. So if you've got ideas, I'll give you a link and you can fill it in now or later, and we will definitely connect and talk about what our opportunities are.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Great question. All right, so let me get my thingy back up here. Here we go. All right, so just so you know, our email is apprenticeship@alaskapca.org. That comes to me and my team. And then I'll give you these live links in the chat. Actually, I think Dominica gave some links already there, so that's perfect. Those match. All right. So I want to talk about some of our new online certification programming that we have added to our menu. The first one is specifically in clinical medical assisting and pharmacy technician opportunities. These particular two, we are partnering with a vendor who will enroll our participants in a 17-week online course. This is with a live instructor, and they have academic coaches. There's an 80-hour clinical externship. So if you have an incumbent worker that needs to be certified in one of these two areas to either be promoted and earn a wage increase, this might be the opportunity for them. If they're not employed, we do offer these particular two courses to Path Academy graduates. So if someone is still not employed and having a hard time finding a position, they can opt into taking these 17-week courses in clinical medical assisting or pharmacy technician. And then when they complete, we help them find an externship site and help them become, be ready and interview and find a job in that field now that they'd be certified. So we're piloting this. We've had great success with the CMA group. We're just starting the pharmacy group enrollments this month. So these are very exciting. Now, that being said, we're also offering these to employer partners who maybe have incumbent or new employees that maybe the apprenticeship model is too long for you and you want some shortened, quicker outcomes. And so these two opportunities are just that. And they do require, I think I've got a thingy on that. They do require an memorandum of agreement between the employer partner and APCA, because our funding requires that to fund these trainings that we track and follow our participants, and they do receive, once they have completed and become certified, a pay raise or promotion. And normally promotion comes with a pay raise, so it kind of goes together. And then we do some follow-up, and we request follow-up from our employer partners on how those employees are continuing to do and stay employed, because there's also retention. Right? We don't just want to train people and then have them leave. We're here to support Alaskan healthcare systems, and that includes retention. So there's no fee for this, by the way. Currently, this is fully grant funded, and we are watching our grant dates. And so the sooner we get people into these programs, the sooner they can get these certifications on their resume, and then internally you have a selection of people who are now certified and can move forward, maybe in a promotion, maybe from administrative into clinical, that kind of thing. So these are the first two options. I'm going to go into some additional options here, and then we'll do some Q&A. So let's see. The next level that we've added, so the first two that that I talked about were synchronous options for pharmacy and clinical medical assistant. We have partnered with another really well-known and vetted vendor who does asynchronous courses in all of these on this big screen. Some of the new ones that we have not been able to share before are sterile processing technician. That's, I know, a big need here in Alaska. Phlebotomy and cardiophlebotomy are some specialties that we can now offer. Behavior technician specialist, and I think there's oh, where did it go? there's a mental health one that's not on this list. A mental health behavior. I don't know how it didn't get on the list, but I can share that with you. So 2 in the behavioral and mental health specialist level, EKG technician, medical scribe, and medical laboratory assistant. Those are new to our menu. And again, these are, again, with an MOA, just agreeing to share the basic information, and that once your employee participant finishes the program, that they can receive that pay wage or promotion in an area. And so these are really important to us. And so say EKG technician, I come from a little bit of a background of education and medical. EKG technician, if you've got staff that maybe aren't going to become a specific EKG technician, but need to be certified in that area so that they can do, more work, or, step into some roles that need to be filled. Say your CMA could be enrolled in EKG technician to receive that additional certification. So they, again, can kind of level up what they are doing for you in clinic. That's also appropriate. Again, with a wage increase or promotion based on how your promotions and wage increases work inside your organizations. But I think this is very exciting. This expands our menu quite a bit from our 8 to, I think, 12 opportunities that we can share with the funding that we currently have. These are asynchronous programs that should be 17 to 20 weeks if they're done sort of weekly, following a normal track, like 1 day a week course, reading your textbook, doing your homeworks, for each module each week. But the magic of these is also that they're asynchronous, which means if one of your employees enrolled and then our subsistence fishing or hunting season comes up and they need to take a couple of days off, or a week off to go do something really important, they don't lose their space, or they don't lose out on their courses. They can just come back to it when they get back. So these to me are pretty exciting. Again, I've been in education a long time, so asynchronous options for me are like amazing for those of us with really busy schedules. Again, these don't have to be done during class or during work hours. They can be done on your employee's time, and like a college course, right? So I'm really excited about these. Anybody have any questions around this list or program? You can type it in the chat. Ooh, we do not have that, but I will make a note and see if our partners have something for that. That's great. Thank you, Naomi. That's a good question. We are always open at the workforce to your suggestions or needs, because that's our goal. Our goal is to try and fill that need for you, and find those trainings. So if there's some specialty trainings that you need, I know that there's even some opportunity here with this particular vendor for Surge Tech. If people are interested in Surge Tech, we can open this up depending. These are just the lists you're seeing are the list of the things that we've heard from current employer partners. But if you have some ideas or some needs within your organization, please reach out to us and just ask the question, because it's our role to do the research and find some solutions for you. And hopefully we can help in that area. Now, again, these are also not attached to on-the-job learning like the registered apprenticeship. They do, all the online programs do have an externship, kind of clinical externship, and then certification. So everything you see here on the list through this program, your participant would do the schooling, bring that externship list to you. One of your supervisors or preceptors would check them off during a certain amount of time that they are competent in those areas, turn that in, and then they can sit for their study and sit for their certification exam. So it's kind of the basic process here, which again can, depending on the participant, can be done, in the shorter or longer time, depending on, like what's happening in their world. So I'm all about flexibility. We live in Alaska, right? I did I think all my master's degree online just for that reason. So that because it was flexible for us. So okay. What is my timeline, Dominica?
It's 5 minutes after noon.
Okay, so are we done at noon, or I can't remember if I had a half hour or not.
We are done at noon, but we are
Okay.
still listening to
Well,
you.
I am almost done. So
Mhm.
our last one is we are also now able to offer employment readiness certifications, kind of in an a la carte fashion, for the same certifications that we teach in our Path Academy program. And here is our last. And so the last website I want to give you is, let me copy and paste it here. It's our alaskahealthcarecareers.com. And can I copy it from here? I don't know if I can. I will put it in the chat really quick. But this one is it has a get started for employers, which is can I open it? Oh, there we go. Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, perfect. So if you come to this site, I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat here in green, and it says develop your workforce. You can click this get started button and give us your information and add your questions here. This comes directly to us, and we will reach back out to you and we'll connect. So that's kind of how to get started. So I want to make sure you guys all have that.
Thank you so much.
And that's, unless there's any additional questions, that's my spiel.
Thank you.
Laura,
And then
I
here's the
think
site too.
I
on
might
it.
be wrong, but I think Laura, I think some of my teachers already have some of this access here because I know, like, we got the path,
Oh, great.
which we've got all that in the high school here, and now I just want to double check on this. So this workforce readiness, like you're showing us right here, can I get my high school students that are like getting the CNA certification and stuff like that? Can I get them? Is this an additional certification that we can get for them for when they're just getting out of high school?
Well, the two things we can do is if they are graduating and they still need some of the certifications, I don't know if you guys are doing MANT or mental health first aid.
We are, yep.
Okay, so if they have those already and need assistance in career navigation, looking for jobs, making sure the resumes are up to date, and having a connection with us, we could sign them up for career navigation.
Okay,
If
perfect.
they're already certified. So that's available
Yeah.
to them. Absolutely.
And
And that's statewide. We can do that virtually. So that's great.
okay.
Mhm.
And I have, like, right now in my internship program, I just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I have 7 students that are interested in going into the medical internship for us.
Mhm.
And so I was just getting ready to reach out to Providence and different people to get them into some of these. Now, I do have 2 of mine that, like, one of them very specifically wants to work with ER doctors.
Mhm.
And so I was just wondering if I wanted to reach out and just find ER doctors that are willing to do these internships. Now, one of them doesn't have her CNA yet because she's not 18 and she won't turn
Mhm.
18 like next October. Like, she's
Oh,
actually
okay.
17. She's young,
Mhm.
but she's a senior.
Mhm.
And so she wants to get in there right away. And then the other one is going to be 18 in like February or March, I believe it is.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so she didn't do the CNA certification. She's going to do it next semester.
Okay.
But she wants to get in that internship right away.
Mhm.
Is there like some way that I can reach out to you and see if you got some help with getting some of these internships possibly placed or?
Honestly, our real focus is employment placement.
Uh-huh.
Where are you located?
I'm ASD. I'm Anchorage School
Okay,
District
okay. I
CTE
would
coordinator.
say,
Yeah.
I was just actually in a meeting with Nine Star, and they have a lot with their programming, both with financial and internship job shadowing.
Yep.
They might be a great connection for that group.
9 Star. Who's that?
Yeah. Nine Star in Anchorage. They just got a new CEO. That there's Ruth and Jody. Jody's in Matsu. Ruth is in Anchorage. They are amazing, and they also have some financial funding that can assist. They do WIOA youth and adult.
Nine-Star
So,
Education and Employment Services.
mhm. Yep,
Okay,
they do internships and job shadowing. They might be a great resource for that.
nice. That'd be great.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I moved here June 13th of this year, so
Here's all the resources.
exactly right. That's
You
why
know,
I'm listening to all
honestly,
these.
you know, Bert, I would love if you shot me an email at our workforce if you want to talk more about, you know, what we do and what you do. And I think we're working with some, I know we're working with some ASD groups. Tanya,
Yep, Tanya Soleil. She's
yeah,
two
yeah, she's
cubicles down. Yeah.
she's our immediate contact. So to know anything
Yep.
we're doing with you guys, can definitely
Yep.
connect with her. But for
Yep.
sure, internships and job shadowing, 9-Star has a lot of connections.
Okay, good. Because actually, now that because I just got my list closed of all of our kids, and Tanya was the next one I was going to have. Because I get medical, I get engineering, I get all of them.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So,
great.
I'm like,
Well, I'll probably see you in a meeting soon.
yeah, more than likely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
welcome
Thank
to
you.
Alaska, Bert. You just got here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Awesome.
Lara, thank you so, so much. This was so informative.
Okay, thank you. Well, I appreciate you guys again. If you have an idea anytime in the future, just reach out and we're here to answer questions and connect. And we're also a long-term Alaskan association, Alaska Primary Care Association. It's been around, I think it's 35 years. We've got a lot of information and we're willing to share, you know, all of that information because our mission's big and health equity is right at the base of that. And we're here to be a
And
partner.
a
to everyone in the
beautiful
community.
new logo. That is, yes,
I know, it's great, isn't it?
it is. All
Yeah,
right.
this is a great website. Awesome.
Thank you
Oh,
so
and
much.
just to say, so it's on recording, our funding source for this particular program is through Good Jobs Challenge. And these are some of our partners. There's Anchorage School District, AHEC, and others. So that's where what is funding most of our programming. We also have some additional funding, but for this particular conversation, it's Good Jobs Challenge. They're doing good in the world, and we appreciate being a part of that that very, very important work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much, Lara, again. Have a
Thank you.
good day.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.